How to spot and exploit back rank weaknesses? Well, there are 5 ways of doing that. Let's look at each of them one by one. So the first way to spot and exploit back rank weaknesses is by keeping an eye on the flight squares or the luft of the king. In the chess world, flight squares are called as the luft. So let's look at this example. So here if you see, black's king is stuck in the middle of the board. And if you look at the squares around this king, then he has only these 3 squares available. But the control of these 3 squares can be easily taken by the white's queen. So what should white play here? Well, the winning move is queen c8 checkmate. Let's look at second example. Here the black king is sitting on the back rank and he doesn't have access to these squares since it's controlled by our bishop. So if you play a move like rook to a8, then the black king will be able to escape this back rank with the move king to d7. Hence, rook a8 check doesn't work for white. So what should white play in this situation? Well, white should play a move which will take away this escape square from the king. And that move is rook to d4, threatening to checkmate at the d8 square. Black is totally lost in this position and he can't really save this game. He can just try to delay the checkmate. So he will play rook c3 check, pawn captures rook. Now he might play b2, trying to get a queen on the board, but that's too late because rook d8 is a beautiful back rank checkmate. Let's look at this amazing third example. Look at this situation on the board. Here white has 2 passed pawns and he's desperately trying to get a queen on the board. And if it was white's turn in the game, then this was an easy win for white because white would have promoted this pawn into a queen, black would have taken this newly promoted queen, then white would have promoted the other passed pawn, and then black takes, white takes, and now white is up in material and this is an easy win for white, right? But fortunately, it is not white's turn in the game, it is black's turn in the game. And because it is black's turn, black is completely winning this game. I know you are shocked. How can black win this game when white has 2 passed pawns? Well, if you carefully see the board, look at the placement of the white king. He's sitting on the back rank and he doesn't have access to any of these 3 squares because all of these squares are controlled by our king as well as this pawn over here. Also in the future, he cannot get access to this square because even this one is controlled by our pawn. So basically the white king is stuck on the back rank. So all black needs to do is find a way to check the king. So what's the winning move over here? So the winning move is rook to h8, threatening to checkmate white's game on the h1 square. Now here it doesn't matter what white plays, whether he promotes this pawn or this pawn, nothing will help save his game because after the pawn promotion, black can immediately deliver a back rank checkmate to the white. Do you think these examples were simple to solve? Now let's look at a slightly complicated example. Here in this situation, the material is equal and it is black's turn in the game. But white has a weakness on the back rank. Why it is a weakness and how did I spotted it? Well, I'll tell you that later. But I first want you to try this puzzle on your own. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think. Can you find the best move for black? Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. So first of all, how did I find that white's back rank is weak? So firstly, see that this king is still stuck in the center of the board. Because he has not castled on either side, his rooks are not connected to each other yet. And that is why this back rank is weak. Secondly, if you see, black has formed a battery with his pieces on this D file. That means black's pieces are ready to invade into white's territory. But black's only barrier is this pawn which comes in its way and this knight, because this knight controls this key square over here. So imagine for a second that this pawn and this knight was not on the board. Then what would have black played? Black would have played queen d2 check, king is forced to go to the f1 square, and now because this square is protected only by this rook while it is attacked double times by the black pieces, Therefore, black would have played queen d1 check, sacrificing his queen. White is forced to take the queen, and now rook d1 is a back rank checkmate because the king doesn't have any flight squares to go. Let's go back. So in this scenario, this would have been very easy for black to deliver the back rank checkmate, correct? But unfortunately, on the board we have this pawn over here as well as this knight over here, which is preventing black to deliver that checkmate. So how can we take advantage of this situation? Well, you know that if these two pieces go out of the board, then white gets checkmated very easily. So taking advantage of this situation, black can play bishop takes knight, because if pawn takes bishop, then you know how the king gets checkmated, right? So therefore, white has lost a knight and now he cannot capture this bishop back. And because white had a back rank weakness, black was able to exploit that and win a piece on the board. And now black is up in material. Let's look at this last example. White is up in material and it is black's turn in the game. And if I ask you to solve this puzzle, then most of you will tell me that black should capture this free knight over here. So well, if you only focus on the material part of the game, then you will always miss out to tap on better opportunities that are available on the board. So before making a hasty move like knight captures knight, look at the white king. He's still stuck in the center of the board and he doesn't have access to this square. And if you somehow able to drag him to this square, then you might be able to checkmate white on the back rank. So how can we do this? So black can start with rook e8 check. White knows that he is getting mated, so he will try to sacrifice his piece by playing knight to e5. But this blocking is useless because rook can take the knight and give check again. King goes to f1 and now bishop d3 check. King goes to g1 and now rook e1 check. White blocks with knight to f1 and now rook takes knight is a beautiful back rank checkmate. So with all these 5 different examples, I am sure you must have understood how to keep an eye on the flight squares of the king so that you can spot weakness in the back rank and deliver a checkmate. Now let's look at the second weakness that you can spot in most of the positions, and that is the amount of power. So what do I mean by that? So in a given situation, you have to calculate what is the amount of power that is defending the back rank and how much is the amount of power you have that you can use to attack the back rank. So if in any given condition, if you can exceed the amount of attacking power, then you can deliver a back rank checkmate easily. So let's understand this with the help of this example. So here you can see black's king is on the back rank and black has 2 rooks on the back rank. So if you see that this rook is protected by only this rook and this rook is defended by only this rook. So basically both of these rooks have only one defender and your rook is attacking this rook, correct? So this particular rook is being attacked one time and is being defended one time. So the power is equal. But if you can find a way to increase the power of attacking on this rook, then you will be able to deliver the back rank checkmate. And how exactly you can do that? So white can play queen d6 check, attacking the king and double attacking this rook now. If the king comes to the defense of this rook, then that would be a mistake because white can checkmate with queen to c7. So that is why king goes on the a8 square. And now it's an easy mate because white can play rook takes rook check, black captures back, and now queen takes rook is a back rank checkmate. Let's look at this situation. Here black's king is trapped on the back rank and this back rank is being protected by only this rook. Although this rook is being guarded by this rook over here as well as this queen over here, but both this rook and the queen are guarding only this d8 spot. So this back rank is protected only by this rook over here. So basically the power is only 1. So black is using the power of only one piece to protect this back rank, and that is this rook over here. And if you see, white is attacking this back rank with two of his pieces. First is this queen and second is this rook over here, which is trying to attack this particular point. Also, this particular point is being guarded by this rook as well. So basically, white's attacking power is more than the defending power of this rook. So taking note of this, can you find the best move for white? I'll give you 5 seconds to think. So the winning move over here is rook e8 check. Black is forced to take the rook and now queen takes rook, checkmates the black's game. Let's look at third example in this category. Here black has only one defender guarding this back rank and white has two attackers on this back rank. So since white has more power, can white take advantage of this situation and play a winning move? Well, the winning move over here is rook to e8, because if black captures this rook, then queen takes rook is a checkmate. So therefore, black is forced to get his queen to the f6 square in order to guard this rook. But because this rook is pinned to the black's king, white can now play queen takes queen. Black is forced to capture back with his g-pawn, and now because black's back rank was weak and white was able to exploit that weakness, white gets a free rook with rook takes rook check, king goes to g7, rook comes to c8, and now white is up in material and this is an easy win for white. Let's look at the fourth example. Black's back rank is weak and white's entry point to this back rank is this h8 square over here. And this square is being guarded by only one black piece over here, whereas it is being attacked by two of white's pieces. So the amount of power that defends this point is just 1, whereas the amount of power that attacks this point is 2, this rook and the queen. So because this is a 1 versus 2 case and white's power exceeds black's power, so white can easily give a back rank checkmate to this black king. So can you find the winning move? So the winning move is rook h8 check, bishop takes the rook, and now queen can check the black king on the h7 square, king moves to f8, and now queen takes bishop is a back rank checkmate. Let's look at the last example in this category. Here, two of white's pieces are protecting the back rank, whereas three of black's pieces are attacking key points in the back rank. So these are the main points, all of these. So since black's power exceeds white's power, because it's a case of 2 versus 3, can you find the winning move for black? So the winning move over here is queen takes rook on a1. If white takes black's queen, then that would be a mistake because rook can now check the white king. White is forced to take the rook and now this rook can end the white's game. So let's go back. So therefore, after queen takes rook, black cannot capture this queen and will first have to make a flight square for his king. So he will play h3 and now you can play rook to f1, double attacking this rook. White queen will come on b6 in order to defend this rook, and now you have reached a position where black is up in material because he was able to exploit the back rank weakness in the white's position. Now let's look at the third technique of exploiting back rank weaknesses, and that is forcefully breaking into the opponent's position. So for example, black's king over here is stuck on this back rank and this back rank is completely weak because it is not being protected enough. So how can white take advantage of this? Well, white can forcefully try to break into the position. As you can see, white's queen is not on an open file. So white will have to play a move which will break into the black's position. And that move is queen takes f7 check. The queen is protected by this bishop over here. So black can capture this queen. So black's king is forced to go to the h8 square. And now queen g8 is a checkmate. Let's look at the second example. Here white's bishop is controlling this key square next to the black king. And white's queen can easily come on this square and checkmate black, but the only problem is that this knight is coming in our way. So what should white play? White should remove his own knight from this place so that white can break into black's position. So the winning move over here is knight takes knight check. If black captures the knight with his pawn, then queen e8 is a checkmate. Let's go back. And if black doesn't capture with his pawn but rather moves his king the d7 square, then queen e8 is checkmate again. Let's look at the third example. Here white's back rank is completely weak because there are no white pieces sitting on this rank. So ideally in this situation, black would have loved to get his queen on this square, but black cannot get his queen to this square because if he does, then he will get captured. Well, black needs to find a move to break into the black's position, and that move is queen takes f2 check. King is forced to move to the h1 square, and now queen g1 is a checkmate. And now comes the fourth example. Here in this situation, the black king doesn't have any escape squares because this square is being controlled by the white's queen, and both of these squares are occupied by his own pawns. So he's kind of stuck in the corner of the board. So how can white take advantage of this situation? So here white will have to break open black's position by giving a check with his knight. So knight g6 check, pawn is forced to capture this knight, and now black king is wide open on this file. So white can now play rook h3 check, black will interpose with his rook, and now rook captures rook is a checkmate. So here white sacrificed his knight so that he can break open this black's position. And now let's look at the last example in this category. Here if you see, black's rook is controlling this f file, and this rook over here has the control of the d file, and the bishop can control all of these diagonals. If the bishop comes over here, then he can control this diagonal. So considering this situation, can you find the best move for black over here? So the best move here is bishop c5 check. If the king moves to the corner, then rook takes rook would be a checkmate. Therefore, white will try to block this check with his rook over here. So now you can capture this rook. But the important question is, with which of these pieces should you capture back? So if you make the mistake of capturing with your bishop, considering that bishop is smaller to rook, then you will not be able to checkmate the white king. But if you capture with your rook, and if this pawn captures back the rook, then you can take the pawn with your bishop. King cannot go to the corner, otherwise he will get checkmated. So white will try to block this check with bishop to e3. You take the bishop and now check the white king again. White king goes to the corner, and now rook f1 is a checkmate. Let's go back. So here when you capture this rook with your own rook, white will not make the mistake of capturing this rook with his pawn. He will rather try to make a flight square for his king by moving the pawn to h4 square. And now here you can play a very strong move, rook d2 check. King moves to h2, and now bishop d6 check. King moves to h3, and now rook d3 check. White will block the check with g3. You can capture the pawn and check again. King moves to h2, and now the other rook penetrates into white's position by rook f2 check. King moves to h1. Look how badly this king is dancing on the board, and none of his army members are able to provide any defense or give support to him. Now black can play rook f1 check. King moves to h2. Rook g to g1 check. White will block the check with bishop to f4, which black can easily take and check again. King moves to h3, and now rook f3 is a beautiful checkmate. Now the fourth way to exploit a back rank weakness is by sacrificing a piece. So let's look at these 5 amazing examples. So here is the first one. Here black's back rank is weak because look, both of these rooks are not connected, and this back rank is being protected by only this rook over here. And look at white's pieces. This bishop and this queen has formed a battery on this diagonal. And this rook over here is aiming at this important square on the back rank. So as a white player, can you sacrifice one of your pieces in order to checkmate the black king? I'll give you 5 seconds to think. So the winning move over here is queen takes f7 check. If black king moves to the corner, then queen takes rook is a checkmate. Therefore, black will capture this queen with his rook, but this rook is now pinned to the black's king. So therefore, white can now checkmate the game with rook to e8. Let's look at the second example. Here it is black's turn to move, and I want you to find a sacrificing move which wins the game for black immediately. So black can sacrifice his queen by getting it on the f1 square. So queen f1 check. White is forced to take this queen with his rook, and now rook takes rook is a checkmate. Now let's look at this beautiful example. Here black's queen is controlling this square next to the king, and this pawn is pinned by our rook over here. So that means that this square is available for our black knight to jump on and give a check to the white king. So if our knight comes over here and checks the white king will not have any escape squares because our knight will be controlling this as well as this square, correct? But if you see, this square currently is being guarded by this knight over here, and black has a light squared bishop as well. So our queen, which is doing the important job of controlling this square next to the king, can be done by this bishop also, which can come to this square. So taking all of these facts into consideration, can you find the winning move for black over here? I'll give you 5 seconds to think. So before I tell you the solution, just imagine for a moment that this knight was off the board. So what would have black played? Well, it's simple. Black would have played knight f3 checkmate. This pawn cannot capture because it's an absolute pin, and this king doesn't have any escape squares to go because all of these squares are under black's control. Let's go back. But the current situation on board is that we have this knight which is guarding this important square over here. So if we want to checkmate, all we need to do is get rid of this knight. So the winning move over here is queen takes knight. Black will sacrifice his queen. If bishop takes queen, then knight f3 checks the white king. King has only one option to go, and that is the f1 square. And now black can play bishop b5 check. White will interpose with his queen, and now bishop takes queen is a checkmate. So let's go back. So after queen takes knight, white will most likely not make the mistake of capturing this queen over here. He might play rook to h2, or maybe bishop to g5, or maybe king to h2 in order to escape from this mating trap. So whatever white chooses to play doesn't matter, because if he doesn't capture a queen back, then in this situation you are up a piece because you have got a knight for free. Let's look at the fourth example. It is black's turn to move, and can you find the winning move? So since white's rook is busy guarding this back rank and is the only white piece sitting there, you can take advantage of this situation by sacrificing your queen on the g2 square. White is forced to take the queen with his rook, but now this rook is pinned to the white's king. So black can now play rook e1 check. White blocks with his knight, and now rook takes knight is a checkmate. Let's look at the last example in this category. Here in this situation, the only white piece that is defending the back rank is this rook over here, and this bishop is currently under attack by this black bishop over here. Also note how beautifully placed this black's knight is, because it can jump to this square and check the white king. Not to forget our queen, which is defending this bishop over here, as well as attacking this white rook over here. And do not miss this rook over here. This rook is controlling this beautiful e file. So taking note of all of these things, can you find the best move for black? So the winning move is the queen sacrifice. Queen takes rook check, knight takes queen, and now knight to f3 check, clearing the path of this rook so that he can deliver a checkmate over here. If bishop takes knight, then rook e1 is a checkmate. Let's go back. So white will capture the knight with his queen, and now rook e1 check, white blocks, but this move doesn't help him because rook takes bishop is a checkmate. And now let's look at the fifth way of exploiting back rank weaknesses, and that is removing the defender of the back rank. Let's look at these 5 examples. Here black's rook is defending this back rank, and white would have loved to capture this rook over here and checkmate black's game, but unfortunately this rook is being protected by this queen over here. So can you divert her from this place? Think of the white's winning move. Your time starts now. So the forcing and the only winning move over here is bishop takes bishop check. If king goes to g8, then obviously queen to g7 would be a checkmate. So therefore queen is forced to capture this bishop, but that doesn't help black anyway because white can now capture this undefended rook and checkmate black's game. Let's look at the second example. Here the material is equal, but white has a weakness on the back rank because white's king doesn't have any escape squares. He's blocked by his own pawns over here, and this square is being controlled by our queen, and white has only one defender of this back rank, whereas black has 2 of his pieces controlling this strong e file and aiming at the square. So how can white remove the defender of this back rank? By playing queen to f2. If white gets greedy and captures this queen, then black can easily finish off the game with rook e1 check. White will play rook to f1, and now rook takes rook would end the game. So after queen f2, since white knows that he will be checkmated, he will not capture this queen. Rather what he will try to do is get his rook to the g1 square. But now you can play rook to e1, double attacking this rook over here. White can't save his rook and the game, so he will just try to waste your time with queen b8 check, king goes to g7, and now queen e5 check, sacrificing his queen in order to save his game. So rook takes queen, pawn takes rook, and now white is up in material because he spotted a weakness on the back rank and exploited it. Let's look at the third example. Here the only defender of this back rank is this rook over here. So just imagine for a moment, if this rook was not sitting over here, then black could have easily checkmated white's game by playing bishop a6 check, queen comes to d3, and now queen d1 is a checkmate. This queen can't capture this queen because she is being pinned by this bishop over here. Let's go back. So the current situation on the board is that this rook is the only defender of this back rank, and this queen is trying to protect this key square over here. So how do we remove these defenders? Well, by checking the white king with our bishop. So bishop a6 check. If king moves to the e1 square, then queen e2 is a checkmate. Let's go back. So white will try to sacrifice this queen on the c4 square. So bishop takes c4 check, rook takes c4, and now queen d1 is checkmate again. Another variation is that white might try to sacrifice his rook over here. So rook c4, so bishop takes rook check, queen comes to d3, and now queen d1 is checkmate again. Let's look at the fourth example. Here 2 of black's pieces are protecting this back rank, and white is trying to attack the back rank with 3 of his pieces, 1, 2 and 3. All these 3 pieces are trying to attack this back rank. So it's a 2 versus 3 case. So black is defending with the power of 2 while white is attacking with the power of 3. So you should definitely note that there is some checkmate pattern over here. but both of these rooks are defending this back rank. So how can you remove one of the defender? By sacrificing your queen. So queen takes c8 check, rook takes queen is forced, and now rook e8 check, rook takes rook, and now rook takes rook is a checkmate. Let's look at the last example. Here this rook is defending this back rank and this rook is being protected by this knight over here. So can you remove the defender of this back rank? I'm sure you must have solved this. The winning move over here is queen takes rook check, knight takes rook, and now rook c1 check. White blocks the check with his queen, and now rook takes queen is a checkmate. So with this, you have learned to spot and exploit back rank weaknesses in your opponent's position. The 5 techniques that I have shown you can be used in any given situation in order to spot a weakness on the back rank. Sometimes you will have to execute any one of these techniques in order to deliver a back rank checkmate, or other times you might have to use a combination of these techniques in order to deliver the checkmate. So remember these beautiful techniques and do try to implement them in your own games. If you have any questions related to today's topic, then feel free to ask me in the comments box below. And now, after going through all of these 25 examples that I've shown you, you have gotten a fair idea of how to deliver back rank checkmates at the beginner and intermediate level. Now you must be wondering, what about the master level? How can we analyze and understand complex positions played at the master's level? How can we spot and deliver back rank checkmates there? So well, do not worry. In the next video, I'll be covering some very great examples played by the grandmasters and the world champions in order to understand back rank checkmates in the complex positions. So stay tuned and keep practicing. Signing off for now. I'll see you in the next video.